MTG and me, this is Charles, and in light of the upcoming release of Guilds of Ravnica, I figured we'd go back and look at some old Ravnica product. So today I've got a Return to Ravnica Booster Battle Pack. Alright, let's go. So Booster Battle Packs is a pretty interesting product. It was briefly discontinued, it's more recently returned as like a big box SKU only. But essentially what it is that there are two small 22 card semi-randomized decks in here along with two booster packs. And what you're supposed to do is just break this open. Each player chooses one of the two decks. Then you open your packs and you add cards that are relevant from your pack to your deck, and you just have a quick game of Magic. Now, what's good about this is, like at the time that these first came out, I think the MSRP was around $6.95 or something, which realistically was not a terrible deal, especially as a new player, because you were getting two booster packs and you were getting some semi-randomized cards in that. In fact, I was a big fan of these early on when we first started collecting and playing Magic, just because of the card count you got in them. That being said, it's definitely a completely different kind of format. Alright, so let's open this up and see what we got. So one of the interesting things about these booster battle packs is that you sort of saw an evolution of the way they were like collated and what was included. So some of the earlier core set versions actually had a little deck box in them, although the deck box was of questionable utility. Then we switched to these foil bags with no deck boxes, just like sticker backed onto that cardboard stock. Most recently, they've cut down a lot on the plastic packaging. Instead, it has an external cardboard box, and the decks just basically slot into it. So on one side, we got our starter deck, 22 cards. We got our booster pack. We got our Return to Ravnica rules and theme insert. It's pretty neat. It gives an overview of the 5 guilds that are showing up in Return to Ravnica, walks you through the rules again. Very, very simple to play. Talks about playing in Pack Wars. Also, interestingly, it sort of says this is a gateway, like limited format, and booster battle packs are a gateway to things like Booster Draft, which is pretty neat. So let's open up the second one. Return to Ravnica booster pack. Then the larger generic Magic the Gathering poster. Now these are quite large. You won't even see it all on camera. These are not in the newer products, but essentially they give you a broader overview of the entire game and some basic explanations. I don't know how well these work to actually explain anything, but there was a lot of supplementary information on there. For example, walking you through how to play, how casting works, turn orders, to the anatomy of magic cards, for example, combat explained, and they go over keywords. So it's kind of sad, or it's a shame that these are missing, but at the same time I also understand putting this in all the products is potentially wasteful, and it's decent to cut costs on this, provided that you have some sort of gateway to explain this stuff to newer players. Okay, so let's start by looking at this first deck. So we'll start at the land. So right off the bat, we can tell this is going to be like a Rakdos black-red kind of 22 card semi-randomized pool. Got a Grim Roustabout, a Splatter Thug, Traitorous Instincts, Explosive Impact, Thrill Kill Assassin is an uncommon, Deviant Clee, Bellows Lizard, Augur Spree, can serve as a combat buff or removal. A Rakdos Ringleader is an uncommon, Shred Freak, and a Catacomb Slug, and then the Guild Gate. So the second one is Izzet. So red-blue, you got Cobble Root, Electrickery, okay, that's actually worth a couple cents. Frostburn Weird, a Crosstown Courier, Essence Backlash, Rune Wing, Dispel, Annihilating Fire, Teleportal, Gutter Snipe, Mizium Skin, and it is a Guildgate. We'll put those aside. Alright, now the real interesting stuff. The 2 Guilds of Ravnica booster packs. Let's open up the first one. Okay, so we start with Ethereal Armor. I'm not going to read all these, but that's at least a notable common. Sundering Growth is good for some sideboard decks in Modern. I play this in the sideboard of Mono Green Stompy. Another Gutter Snipe. Then we got a Slitherhead, a Rakdos Cackler, And our rare is a Deadbridge Goliath. So not a particularly valuable rare, but it's in there. So given that we had opened this in our Rakdos deck, you can look at this, and there's actually some reasonable potential playables in here. Any of these 6 cards essentially could go in there. I would suggest that Augur Spree would be prioritized, Destroy the Evidence probably minimized, and that's actually pretty good. To include these 5 would just provide it a little bit of extra reach, so pretty neat. Alright, last booster pack. Just to set aside any that are potentially playable now in that deck. First uncommon is Soul Tithe. It's unfortunate these cards are a little bit damaged. A Rites of Reaping. We got a Corrose the Guildmage, and a copy of Slaughter Games as our rare. So a couple less cards. There's only 4 total that we could potentially play in here. I would suggest Inspiration's probably a good include. Fischino Racketeer, because again you can discard to draw to things. Trader's Instinct would be good. I'd probably put all 4 of these in there. This is a temple play, so fits well with the theme. Alright, so that was the Guilds of Ravnica Booster Battle Pack. Thanks for watching.